Hey friends, I hope you had a great week at school. I know a lot of you started back to school this week. I hope you learned a lot. I bet you were really glad to see your friends and your teachers. And I've got a short little lesson for you. But before I start that, I want to say hey to our friend Levi. He wasn't feeling good today and he had to go to the doctor, but he's home now. And Levi, I hope you feel better, buddy. So tonight our lesson is about two sisters, Mary and Martha. Now, the Bible, they tell us about Mary and Martha a couple times. But last week, I did a little Bible study with a friend of mine from work. And we did this Bible study about Mary and Martha. And so we both really thought about, how am I like Mary or how am I like Martha? Guess what? I was kind of more like Martha a lot, I think. So in the book of Luke, let me pick my Bible up, okay? In chapter 10, verses 38 through 42, this is a really short story. It's just 5 verses. It tells us that Jesus went to a village, and he went to a lady's house, and her name was Martha. So she received him in her house. She invited him in. She says, come on. So it was Jesus and his disciples that went with them. And she had a sister, and her sister's name was Mary. And while Jesus was teaching and talking to his disciples and the other people that were there, Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet and she was listening to everything he said. And Martha, she was making sure that everything was ready. I bet she was probably fixing a great big dinner, right? Because Jesus came to eat at her house. When we have company, we like to have a really nice meal, don't we? So it says that Martha was serving. But it doesn't just say that she was serving. It didn't say she was getting dinner ready. It said she was cumbered about. And so that kind of means that she was working really hard and she was bustling around trying to get everything ready. Okay? And there's her sister Mary. And Mary's sitting there listening to Jesus. So Martha, I guess she kind of had enough of it, right? She wanted some help. So she went to Jesus and she said, don't you care that my sister isn't helping me? She's making me do all this work by myself. Tell her to get up and help me. And so Jesus said, Martha, Martha. He said, you're careful and troubled about many things. He said, you're worried about a lot of stuff. But he didn't want her to worry about Mary because he said that Mary had chosen the good part and he wasn't going to take that away from her. So he said that Mary listening to him was much more important than Martha making sure that they had dinner and that, you know, if somebody was thirsty, she got them something to drink, right? That everything was picked up in the house and all that, everything looked good. He said what Mary picked is the most important part. Right? So I thought about that. He said, in one thing I read, it said that what he was trying to say was, Martha, you're anxious. You're nervous about all this. You're worried about it. You don't need to be like that, Martha. It's okay. And so I thought about Mary and Martha. And you know, the Bible, Jesus tells us that he wants us to serve others, right? But it's not just about that we serve other people, that we do things for them, right? But it's how we do it, right? So it's how is that in your heart? So when Martha was doing it, she got to a point where she really wasn't happy about serving people, right? She was kind of upset about her sister not helping her. You know, I think about Martha and I think Martha had to be the older sister, right? She had to be the oldest. And you know why I think that? Because she was trying to get everything ready and she wanted to boss her sister, right? Isn't that what the older brothers and sisters want to do? I'm an older sister, okay? My brother would probably tell you I'm bossy. So if you've got brothers and sisters, you might think, yeah, I bet she was the oldest, right? And if you're an oldest brother and sister, you're like, well, Mary had to be the baby because she wasn't getting up and helping, right? And we get like that, don't we? So it's not just us that are like that. It's people all the way back through the Bible. People were like that. But Jesus wants us to, when we serve and we do something, he wants us to do it with joy in our heart. That's called having a servant's heart. So let me read you a couple other things that the Bible tells us. So in Galatians chapter 5, verse 13, it said, it's for us to, by love, serve one another. It doesn't say do it and be hateful, does it? It doesn't say in grumpiness serve one another. It says by love. So if we love, that's coming from our heart, isn't it? And then in 1 John chapter 3, verse 18, it says, my little children, and we're all God's little children, right? It doesn't mean little bitty kids. It means all of us that are God's children. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongues. Don't just let me show you that I love you by my words, right? Not from what comes from my tongue. It says, but in deed and in truth. Indeed, those are the things you do, our deeds, the things that we do. So that's us serving and having a servant's heart. Because if I do something nice for you, but I'm really grumpy about it, doesn't mean as much, does it? So I thought a lot about Martha in the past week or two. And I saw a really neat video that was in our Bible study, and I'm going to share it. And it's called Sandy Tales. And it's about Mary and Martha, and it kind of tells this story. And the person that did it, they're going to make the pictures with sand. And they're going to tell you the story. And I really enjoyed it, and that's another reason I wanted to share this story with you, because I wanted to share that video because I thought it was really awesome and really cool. And they have a lot of videos about different Bible stories. So if you like that video, then there's a whole lot more that you can watch. So friends, I hope you have a wonderful week at school. And I miss each and every one of you. And I know it's not the same for us to do Kellytown Kids this way, but we're going to still do some fun stuff until we can be back together. And I'll just talk to you on the Facebook, okay? Bye, guys.